Hey YouTube, Kira Qualia here, bringing you all my Thegrea Cardfight Vanguard deck profile for post-Minerva Rising. With the latest booster for Cardfight Vanguard, we were given new support to update the Thegrea deck, a deck that focuses on being able to Persona Ride with two different versions of Thegrea, and being able to go back and forth and make use of both your grade 1 and grade 2 Maple to call out these units every time you do Persona Ride, and then having different Vanguard skills depending on which Thegrea you have as your Vanguard. We are getting another promo as a monthly promo for Thegrea. It'll be a little more harder to access, so that's why I decided to do this deck profile without that promo and use the normal order that we have from this booster set along with the new support. And then if we do get that promo, and I'll make an update to the deck for those people that want to see what is available for the deck with that promo as well. So let's go ahead and get started with the deck profile. So for the ride deck, our starter is Knight of Integrity, Thegrea. When rode upon, if you want second, draw a card. Our grade 1 is Beneath the Brilliant Light, Thegrea. When rode upon by a Harsh Training Thegrea, reveal the top card of your deck, and if it is a grade 2 or less unit from it, call it to rearguard as rest. Just more of a setup card. The grade 2 or less setup definitely is important. You return to the top of your deck if you do not call it. So even if you don't call it, you at least know if you have a trigger unit coming with that card on the top of the deck. And our grade 2 is Harsh Training Thegrea. When rode upon by a unit with Thegrea and its card name, you look at the top 3 cards of your deck, choose up to 1 card with Thegrea or Maple and its card name from among them, reveal it, put it into your hand, and shuffle your deck. It's search power to get some of your other needed units into your hand for you to use. And the grade 3 of choice this time around is the One Who Walks the Path of Light, Thegrea. Just, you can choose either one you want, but you have more of a rearguard pressure with the One Who Walks the Path of Light, Thegrea, in your ride deck. That's also why we're additionally running 3 copies of this card in the deck as well. With this card, the normal ride from hand or unit with Thegrea, if it's a different name from this unit, can also count as a Persona ride. So even if you use the next Thegrea, you still get a Persona ride when you ride it on top of this Thegrea. And also on Vanguard, once per turn, counterblast 1, look at the top 5 cards of your deck, choose up to 1 grade 2 or less unit from among them, call it to rear, and shuffle your deck. If One Who Blooms in Dark Thegrea is in your soul, you choose up to 2 instead. So a really good restanding pressure that this card can provide. And at the end of the battle, this unit attacked. If this unit was placed by riding with One Who Blooms in the Dark Thegrea, this turn, discard a card from your hand, choose one of your rear guards, and stand it. So then you have more of a search power and that additional rear guard that can stand. And this unit also glitters with the Fire Regalia when you use it with Maple. Our next grade 3 is the One Who Rides in the Dark, Thegrea, with this one being the same Persona Ride option. And with this one, you retire 2 of your grade 2 or less rear guards, choose one or more of your opponent's rear guards, retire it. And then if the light Thegrea is in your soul, you retire all of your opponent's rear guards in the same column. And then this is the restander at the end of the battle. This unit attacked if once per turn. If it was placed by riding from One Who Walks the Path of Light Thegrea this turn, you counterblast 1, discard a card from your hand, stand this unit, and it gets drive -1 until end of turn. So the restanding Vanguard relying on herself and sacrificing her rear guards, aside from the Path of Light, that also works with her rear guards to restand them for their own powered skills. For the grade 2s, running 4 copies of Atrocious Moth Girl Maple. When your grade 3 or greater Vanguard is placed during the ride phase, if you now have a unit with Maple and its card name, you may call it to rear guard. And it glitters with Thegrea. At the end of the battle, this unit attacked. You can soul blast 1 or more cards. Choose a card from your soul with the same grade as the sum of the grades of the cards. Soul blast for this cost, put them into your hand, and put this unit in your soul, making up for some of the hand consistency that you can invest in the following turn, thanks to Maple. And just being able to call out Maple, and additionally her grade 1 form, just gives you more and more of a field presence, even if you have to sacrifice them for in the Dark Thegrea. For some of the other grade 2s, we're still running the 3 copies of Knight of Protective Spear Arthen. From the front row rear guard, all your rear guards with different card names from this unit cannot be chosen by your opponent's card effects. And when this unit attacks, if you Persona Rode this turn, it gets plus 5,000 to end of turn. So with the plus 10 from the Persona Ride and also Arthen's own plus 5, you have a 25k attacking grade 2, just added for extra pressure and a potential card to restand with the light Thegrea if you were to attack multiple times with it. I also run 3 copies of Brilliant or Drilling Angel. When placed on rear, you put a unit from your drop zone into your soul. Look at 3 cards at the top of your deck. Choose up to 1 card with the same card name as the card put into your soul from among them and call it to rear and shuffle your deck. So we run multiple names for plenty of cards in the deck. So just being able to use Drilling Angel for setup in the soul, but also field presence is a big plus for sure with this card. Just an added backup for the other grade 2s, since you also have some calling skills thanks to the ride deck to call out on the field, so you want a good number of grade 2s that you can rely on just when they're placed on rear guard to begin with. For the grade 1s, I have 3 copies of the new Pink Moth Girl Maple. Ideally, I would want to run 4, just so you always consistently have a grade 1 to call from the drop zone. When your grade 3 or grade Vanguard is placed during the ride phase. If you Persona Road this turn and you do not have a Pink Moth Girl Maple on your rear guard, you may call this card to rear. If you called it, it gets plus 5,000 to end of turn. And it glitters with Thegrea. And from the back row, when your unit in the same column as this one is stood, you may stand this unit. If you do, at the end of the turn, retire this unit. But you'll just get the unit back again if you Persona Ride with Thegrea, being able to call it out again, and being able to restand a booster for your Vanguard even is just added power that this card can provide. If you wanted to run a 4th copy of this card, you can take out 1 of the Painkiller Angels that I run, and then ideally reduce the number of either Arthen or Drilling Angel to an additional 2 or 1 to put in a 2nd Painkiller Angel, or vice versa. One of those 2 grade 2s can come out for a 4th copy of Pink Moth Girl Maple. You can even leave everything as it is. It's just a player preference. Sometimes 3 Maple is fine because all you have to do is set it up in the drop zone and you have a card that you can call out quite easily. With the last of the grade 1s just being 4 copies of Aegismare Dragon. If you have the Elementaria Sanctitude Blitz Order, you can just replace it for 1 copy of this card, being a Blitz Order that can just stop triple drive quite easily. For the order, we are running 4 copies of Dark Magenta of Blooming Hatred. With this order, it needs play it if you have a Vanguard with Thegrea in its card name. When this unit is put into your order zone, counter +1, draw a card, and from the order zone, if you have a grade 3 with Thegrea in its card name, put this unit into the drop zone, choose up to 1 grade 3 grade card with Thegrea in its different card name from your Vanguard from your hand, and ride it as stand. This just allows you to go for your Persona Ride that much more quickly, getting the different Thegrea, whether it be the light or dark Thegrea from your hand, Persona Road on top of the one you already have on your Vanguard, just gives you the +10, the drop power, and the setup to use whichever Thegrea you wanted to begin with, which is also why I like in the light Thegrea, because with that one you can go into in the dark and have more of a pressure with a restanding Vanguard for the first grade 3 ride that you go up with against your opponent. And also all you have to do is have that grade 3 Vanguard to rely on this. For the trigger lineup, we are running 7 critical, so 4 copies of the Blade Feather Dragon and 3 copies of White Fang Witch Disma for added pressure, regardless of if it's your Vanguard or even just the light Thegrea. Depending on which one you want to go for, you'll have the pressure for your rear guards or your Vanguard that restands. And then for the next trigger, just going to draw triggers for more hand consistency with the deck, so 4 copies of Protection Magic Perobi for the additional 5k shield that it also provides. And for the heals, I was thinking of moving in the normal heal lineup. I have 2 of the Invigorate Sage and 2 Tier Sorceress. If you wanted to remove 2 copies of each, you can just run the no skill additional 15k shield heal triggers for these 2 spots also, with the last of the over trigger just being a Martinoa, so you have the rear guard drive checks to provide if you drive check this card and don't damage check it. But that is it for the deck profile. I hope you all enjoy. Once again, thanks to my buddy Anthony for letting me borrow his Thegrea deck with the new support from Minerva Rising. It is definitely a big plus to the deck for sure. And as always, until next time, please don't forget to leave a like and subscribe, and Kira Qualia out.